Here's your latest Pioneer News update. I'm Davon.
And I'm Erik. Gallatin's sales tax revenue topped $2 million for the 11th month in a row. The Gallatin Economic Development Agency says that the consistent revenue helps keep property taxes in check. GEDA says that the city's focus is primarily on manufacturing, where the top site selection criteria are work-based availability and training, economic advantages, and more recently quality of place.
There's concern about funding in Tennessee public schools. Isabella McLaughlin has more to say.
Tennessee is the worst state for the U.S. for spending on public school students, according to the new report from the National Education Association. The report tracks teacher pay, student spending, and education investments across the nation. It shows public school spending per student dropped nearly 10% from the year 2023 and 2024 school year. Tennessee now spends just over $12,000 for each public school student in average daily attendance, more than $2,000 less than the national average.
Ball State is joining other schools in preparing for the worst-case scenarios. When it comes to safety, Zachary Dowsett gives us an update.
Last Friday at Ball State Community College, faculty and staff participated in a 4-hour active shooting training session focused on emergency preparedness. The training provided by defense systems covered a history of school shootings and how those events have shaped safety and protocols across the U.S. Participants were taught how to respond if an active shooter is on campus, including when to run, hide, or fight depending on the situation. The session also included basic medical training, showing attendees how to treat wounds and provide immediate care until first responders arrive. As part of the training, participants experienced simulated gunfire inside a building, demonstrating how loud and disorienting these situations can be. While this was a controlled exercise, the sounds are designed to reflect real-world conditions. Officials say the goal is to build awareness and to ensure that in a crisis, faculty and staff are prepared to respond quickly and efficiently to protect students.
Are we prepared for the deal with fuel price increase in Middle Tennessee? Brad Kavanaugh looks at the E15 mandate.
Price jump in gas. This is because of Iran owning about 20% of oil, selling it through the Strait of Hamas, that is averaging around $3.85, jumping all the way up to $4.03 a gallon. To combat this, the government is mandating on May 1st till May 20th, 2026, that gas stations use E15 fuel. Now the question is this safe for your car? Today, we are joined by studying diesel mechanic Matthew McGill to help us with this question.
Matthew, please tell us, what exactly is E15?
So E15 is just a blend of two chemicals that we're already seeing, regular gasoline and then ethanol. And that's actually normal just across the board. Whether you fill up with 87, 89, 90, whatever grade, all of them are actually a blend of gasoline and ethanol. Usually it's about 10% ethanol. But E15, all that is it's a higher ethanol concentration. It's 15% ethanol and 85% gasoline. E15 is reportedly supposed to lower or improve gas mileages. It's supposed to be better overall is what they're kind of pushing. But gas mileage is their biggest thing, especially with the energy crisis coming through.
Necessarily, how would it affect their car differently from E10 gasoline?
So the second half of that question really comes down to what ethanol is. Ethanol is the biggest factor in all of this, right? So ethanol on its own, actually, if you were to look into studies for it, is actually bad for most engines. Ethanol has corrosive tendencies. And so what that means is that usually when it's sitting in either gas lines or your gas tank, or as it gets atomized into the combustion chamber, it actually can put more wear on your seals and your engine components than just using regular, less ethanolized gasoline. So any cars and trucks that were made from 2001 and newer, they usually say is safe to run E15 as long as you're already running unleaded of some sort, 87, 89, somewhere in there. When you start getting up into the 90s and the 93s, if your car is not is made to specifically run those, you want to keep using those. But if you're running 87 to 89, somewhere in there, E15 would be fine for you to use, as long as your car is older than 2001. But I think the biggest thing that the industry is really worried about is seeable wear would be one big thing, so really bad wear on those older engines, and also just compatibility across the board. Overall, like I was saying, E15, so a higher ethanol concentration, is actually bad for your engine. And a lot of those cars that are actually older than 2001 are carburetor driven, right? So you're using a lot more fuel compared to what you would be using in a fuel injected setup, right? Which is what normal cars run today. So with that, carburetors usually run a lot more gas. They usually run through gas a lot quicker. And I think the biggest thing that they're worried about is because that's the setup that they're running, you run into a lot more wear a lot quicker on those engines. So it's not impossible. If you have like a 90s car that regularly runs 87 and you would like to put E15 into it, there is a definite possibility that you would be putting more wear on your engine compared to just running what you would normally run in it.
People that don't want to necessarily take that risk, is there a way for them to combat this?
Yeah, so one thing that you actually can do is you can call the gas station that you go to. The clerk on his own that's working there may not know off the top of his head, but he certainly can redirect you to the gas company that actually fuels the pumps, and they honestly would probably be able to tell you whether or not they're still supporting regular unleaded in the area, which they probably are. But I would ask specifically on their ethanol content. I know a lot of people are having mixed reports recently about higher ethanol concentrations in normal 87 as well as this kind of mandate rolls out, keeping E15 at the pump. But, so I would call your local gas company, or the gas company that fuels the gas station that you're at. And like I said, you can get that at the gas station's number.
A growing number of fast food franchises are migrating to our area. Ian Adams investigates one trying to make a big splash.
I'm Ian Adams. Construction continues at Hendersonville, Tennessee for the new In-N-Out Burger, located at the intersection of North Anderson Lane and Vietnam Veterans Drive, with another one nearing completion near the deconstruction of the Rivergate Mall in Madison. With all of these large fast food chains being added to this town, let's ask an average man on a street for his opinion.
I like double-doubles from In-N-Out Burger, and I'm happy they're leaving California and coming to Tennessee. However, when you have one in every single town, then they're not special anymore. We have one in Madison, one in Hendersonville, one in Gallatin, one in Lebanon, and one in Murfreesboro. And then they're not special anymore.
It's unclear just how big these locations are going to be once they open. I'm Ian Adams with your Pioneer News Update.
The first ever Middle Tennessee Horse Fair and Rescue Fest opens this Saturday in Lacasis at Jade Horse Rehab and Retirement. The festival brings together horse lovers, horse owners, prospective adopters, and organizations for the Day of Learning. Proceeds from the event will benefit each participating group in safe harbors programs and services.
Lots of Vol State horsepower hits the field this weekend. Here's a look at sports.
Hey, I'm Porter with your Pioneer Sports. The Vol State Pioneers baseball team ended their season on a high note, defeating Jackson State in a 3-game series. The Pioneers downed the Green Jays 18-8 and 10-5 in a doubleheader on Thursday and clobbered them 19-6 in 7 innings in Friday's outing. Vol State has been 15-15 at home this season. The Lady Pioneers softball team have a 9-game hot streak to wrap up their season. The Lady Pioneers celebrated Sophomore Day with a pair of wins against Jackson State. The first one 7-4, the second 6-1 in Sunday's doubleheader. The Lady Pioneers' Kirsten Smith says Vol State now heads to conference play.
So conference tournament will begin this weekend. Baseball has a play-in series against Chattanooga State, who's the 5th seed, and Volunteer State's the 8th seed. In the regular season, Chat swept baseball, so kind of looking for a turnaround there, but they'll start their play-in series on Thursday, I believe, and be done by Saturday and figure out if they get to go to conference tournament or not. For softball, though, we're ranked as the 1 seed for the first time in program history. We've won the regular season, and we'll start on Saturday. We get a bye first round. We'll start on Saturday, so we're still waiting to figure out who we're going to play, and that game will be on Friday, but we'll head down to Columbia on Friday. We get to go to nationals in Alabama and face a lot of good teams from all over the country then.
The Titans picked Ohio State's wide receiver Carnell Tate in the first round of the Nashville draft. This marks the first time in franchise history the team used the 4th overall pick in the draft. The last first-round Ohio State pick by the organization was running back Eddie George in 1996. The Titans hope to beef up their defense with Keldrick Fault from Auburn, also selected in the first round after a trade with the Buffalo Bills. Heisman candidate and Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia went undrafted during the 2026 NFL Draft. He's the first Heisman Trophy finalist since Jordan Lynch in 2014 to go undrafted. I'm Porter Plover with Pioneer Sports.
Here's hoping the weather holds for all this weekend's events.
I'm Tamara with your Pioneer forecast. Get ready to be drenched for the weekend. We're looking at showers for the next few days. Tonight, the low drops to 52 in Gallatin with a light breeze in the air, feeling like spring again instead of summer. More rain tomorrow, the high only 64, low in the 40s. A mix of sun and clouds over the weekend, the highs in the upper 60s. While ragweed isn't a problem yet, if you have tree or grass pollen allergies, you might want to stay indoors for most of the days. That stuff is on everything. I'm Tamara with your Pioneer forecast.
That wraps up for the Pioneer News Update. I'm Erik.
And I'm Davon. Thanks for watching.